Chapter 567. Creating Worlds in the Divine Dream Realm. The Divine Dream Realm, in truth, is challenging to perfect despite the many things within the Divine Realm that seem familiar. To actually perfect it within the dream is an arduous task, especially in terms of worlds. Creating worlds is exceedingly difficult. It is a key component of the Divine Realm. Unexpectedly, Lin Fei has perfected it. Of course, this is just the beginning. To truly perfect it, there is still a long way to go. It requires numerous smaller worlds. Not just one. After all, the Divine Realm outside contains more than one small world. The Divine Dream Realm must, in its entirety, closely resemble the external Divine Realm. Lin Fei, from now on, slowly continue to create worlds. The more worlds you create, the better. Only then can the Divine Dream Realm be perfected. The Great Dream Ancestor, pleased, spoke to Lin Fei. I understand. However, my world is not yet perfected. It needs the birth of life to be completely perfected. You can bring life to these small worlds. The Great Dream Ancestor was even more astonished. He understood what this meant. Once a small world gives birth to life, then it becomes a true small world. Indistinguishable from those in the external realm. Yes, it can give birth to life. But it requires a considerable amount of time. It could be 1,000 years, perhaps 10,000, or even longer. The exact duration is subject to some chance factors. But generally, it takes a very long time. Hearing Lin Fei's words, a smile appeared on the Great Dream Ancestor's face. In the Divine Dream Realm within the fourth layer of dreams, time. It's simply not an issue. Lin Fei nodded in agreement. In the fourth layer of dreams, time flows 10,000 times faster. A day outside translates to nearly 27 years in this layer. 10 days outside are equivalent to roughly 270 years, nearly 300. And 100 days outside. That equates to 2,700 years. In short, time is abundant in the fourth layer of dreams. Setting the Divine Dream Realm in this layer was primarily due to the rapid flow of time. This acceleration brings various benefits. Thus, Lin Fei began creating worlds, one after another, within the Divine Dream Realm. Since time moved swiftly here, it wouldn't delay much. Moreover, in the process of continuously creating worlds, Lin Fei also gained various insights. Undoubtedly, this would enhance his understanding of the Tao of Worlds. So, Lin Fei commenced his creation of worlds within the Divine Dream Realm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Time in the Divine Dream Realm passed quickly. 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. In the blink of an eye, 30 years had passed. In the outside world, this was just over a day. Yet, in these 30 years, Lin Fei had created approximately 10,000 small worlds within the Divine Dream Realm. Crafting over 10,000 worlds, Lin Fei became more proficient in perfecting the Divine Dream Realm and creating worlds. However, there seemed to be no insights into the Tao of Worlds and consequently, no advancement. Lin Fei felt the urge to leave. But he faintly sensed something was amiss. He had always been creating worlds, yet he always felt something was lacking. A glimmer of insight flickered in his mind, but he couldn't quite grasp it. Even if I create 100,000 or 1,000,000 small worlds, it would be the same. The Tao of Worlds would not improve. But for now, the only thing I can perfect is the small world. Aren't the small worlds a part of the external Divine Realm? Lin Fei furrowed his brows. Suddenly, amidst the chaos of his thoughts, a flicker of insight briefly shone through. In that moment, Lin Fei achieved enlightenment. He always felt something was missing. Or rather, there was something not quite right. But what exactly was missing, Lin Fei did not know. Now, he understood. In the Divine Realm, indeed there are small worlds. However, in addition to small worlds, there are also true monarch-level worlds. Lin Fei had created small worlds. But he had not created a true monarch-level world. What is the difference between a true monarch-level world and a small world? Lin Fei's understanding cleared. If I could create a true monarch-level world, it would further perfect the Divine Dream Realm. Moreover, once I create a true monarch-level world, what would be the power of the particle worlds I create thereafter? The thought alone exhilarated Lin Fei. Thus, he continued to stay within the divine dream realm. If it were elsewhere or using his own particles for experimentation, there would be risks. Even then, its correctness would be uncertain and hard to verify. But the divine dream realm was different. As long as Lin Fei's creation wasn't a true monarch-level world, or if there were errors, all traces would disappear. In essence, the divine dream realm could validate whether Lin Fei's methods were correct. This was hugely beneficial for Lin Fei's future creation of particle worlds. So, Lin Fei began attempting to create true monarch-level particle worlds. Instead of undergoing the 9th heavenly tribulation, Lin Fei started his attempts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Lin Fei did not know how many attempts he made. But each time, he failed to create. A true monarch-level world was not that simple. My understanding of true monarch-level worlds is still insufficient. Or rather, it's too general. I have yet to grasp the essence of true monarch-level worlds. That's why I've been unable to create one. Lin Fei realized the problem. He only knew the superficial aspects of true monarch-level worlds, not their essence. That's why he couldn't create them. Lin Fei had attempted thousands of times. But without exception, all attempts failed. It's no use, continuing to try will yield the same result. I need to experience a true monarch-level world firsthand. Only by understanding its essence can I possibly create a true monarch-level world. Lin Fei made up his mind. Thus, he left the divine dream realm and returned to the ancient city. Whoosh! Lin Fei opened his eyes. He looked around and then checked the date. Only 2 days had passed, yet in the 4th layer of dreams, that was 54 years. For Lin Fei, it was too long. Even coming back felt like returning from another era. Now I either find a true monarch-level world, it doesn't have to be on the brink of collapse, even a stable true monarch-level world will do. Or I undergo the heavenly tribulation. Surviving the 9th heavenly thunder and gaining insights into the Tao of worlds might significantly enhance it. Lin Fei pondered. Undergoing the tribulation now was also an option. As long as he didn't rashly create particle worlds using the laws he plundered, it would be feasible. Moreover, after the tribulation, at least those world laws would enhance the power of Saber World. That would be enough. Once he survives the 9th tribulation, Lin Fei would truly be a top-tier true monarch. After 9 tribulations, Lin Fei would lose his edge. Like other true monarchs, he would have to earnestly comprehend his own path, striving to master a complete Tao. If so, then I'll undergo the tribulation first. Lin Fei quickly decided. His strength was sufficient now. Passing the 9th tribulation would be a breeze. Even facing 9 heavenly thunders, he was confident. There shouldn't be any major issues. Thus, in a flash, Lin Fei swiftly flew toward the side of the tribulation. Chapter 568. The 9th heavenly tribulation. At the place of the tribulation, a cacophony of voices filled the air. Someone has managed to withstand 5 heavenly thunders once again. It's unbelievable. Just a few days ago, there were those who consecutively withstood 4 and even 5 heavenly thunders. And now, there are more who have achieved the same feat. In the past, enduring 2 or 3 heavenly thunders was considered the limit. Those who could withstand 4 or 5 were few and far between. It's astounding to witness so many now. All thanks to true monarch Lin for sparking this trend. If one wishes to attain martial god's greatness and preserve the hope of becoming a martial ancestor, they must be ruthless with themselves. True monarch Lin has, with his own strength, truly reshaped the entire martial world. Many were filled with deep emotion. Lin Fei chose to provoke more heavenly thunders while crossing the tribulation, unlike in the past when one aimed merely to survive it. The difference between the two approaches was substantial. One could discern the strength of Lin Fei, who had already ascended to true monarch status. Yet, he still faced the tribulation. Many martial gods seemed to have finally had an epiphany. It appeared that the tribulation was not a calamity for martial gods. On the contrary, this tribulation should be viewed as a reward bestowed by heaven and earth upon martial gods. However, many martial gods from before had failed to realize this. They did not comprehend the profound meaning or essence of the heavenly tribulation. Hence, they resisted the tribulation vehemently. Some even aimed solely to survive, even if it meant enduring just a single thunderous trial. But now, with Lin Fei leading the way as a guide, everyone had a sudden realization. Turns out, enduring multiple heavenly thunders held immense benefits. Thus, when Lin Fei arrived at the side of the tribulation, what he beheld was this lively scene. Is that true, Monarch Lin? Yes, it is indeed true, Monarch Lin. True Monarch Lin has returned to the tribulation grounds. Could it be that he intends to undergo another tribulation? Undoubtedly, he is preparing for a tribulation. If true Monarch Lin proceeds with this tribulation, it will mark his 9th heavenly tribulation, won't it? Once he conquers the 9th heavenly tribulation, he'll be on the path to becoming a martial ancestor. Martial ancestor, it has been so many years since Divine Realm has witnessed the birth of one. In an instant, the entire tribulation grounds erupted in excitement. Lin Fei's name resounded profoundly among the martial gods present. Everyone recognized Lin Fei. True Monarch Lin, are you here to face the tribulation? That's correct. However, with so many people here, should I wait? True Monarch Lin, the most formidable formation within the tribulation grounds has always been kept intact, just in case. It seems that it is indeed coming in handy now. Lin Fei fell into a momentary silence. This tribulation ground had a formation reserved exclusively for him. Surprisingly, other martial gods did not find it unfair. It appeared that Lin Fei had underestimated his current status among the martial gods. Lin Fei's current position among the martial gods was nothing short of legendary. In fact, in some respects, it even surpassed the status of a martial ancestor. Many martial gods were unaware of the term martial ancestor, but they undoubtedly knew Lin Fei. This was the current extent of Lin Fei's renown. Before long, Lin Fei entered the largest formation within the tribulation grounds. This place was the most familiar to him. Countless times in the past, he had crossed his tribulations within this formation. Now, he was about to face a tribulation once more, but this time, it felt markedly different. This time, it was almost certainly his final tribulation. After this ordeal, Lin Fei would have conquered the 9th heavenly tribulation, and there would be no more opportunities for him to undergo it again. Beyond the tribulation grounds, other martial gods were aware that this was Lin Fei's 9th thunder tribulation. They knew they had to bear witness to this spectacle. One after another, they summoned friends and urgently notified others. They rushed to the tribulation grounds as swiftly as possible. Missing this opportunity meant they would never have the chance to witness Lin Fei's tribulation again. Clearly, this held immense historical significance. Before long, the tribulation grounds were surrounded by layers of onlookers, both inside and outside. Many, including the Void Transformation True Monarchs, Tao Integration True Immortals, and Martial Ancestors, were all focused on Lin Fei's tribulation. Within the formation, Lin Fei paid no heed to the commotion outside. Let it begin, he declared. Lin Fei raised his head, and his awareness shifted to the depths of the void. There lay the vast Origin Sea. This Origin Sea seemed boundless, teeming with an immense quantity of primordial essence. This was the origin of the Divine Realm. A bold idea began to flicker in Lin Fei's mind. What if he could obtain the origin of the Divine Realm? To what extent could he elevate his particles? It was a thought too audacious to contemplate. After all, Lin Fei had never heard of anyone obtaining the origin of the Divine Realm, not even martial ancestors or Tao Integration True Immortals. Without hesitation, at the next moment, Lin Fei forcefully drew down the first heavenly thunder. Saber World. Lin Fei unleashed the Saber World without arrogance. Boom. The first heavenly thunder struck the Saber World but failed to shatter it. Then came the second, third, and fourth heavenly thunders, one after another. Until the fifth heavenly thunder. The fifth heavenly thunder had reached the level of a true monarch, making it tremendously formidable. Yet, even when it struck the Saber World, it couldn't pierce through. After all, the Saber World had long transcended its previous state, now standing at the pinnacle of the true monarch level. Hence, the fifth heavenly thunder, despite its true monarch might, couldn't breach the Saber World. The sixth heavenly thunder descended. This time, its power was truly at the apex of the true monarch level. The Saber World finally cracked open. However, that was the extent of it. After breaking the Saber World with the sixth heavenly thunder, it lost all its power and couldn't harm Lin Fei's physical body in the slightest. Then came the seventh heavenly thunder, with its power increasing more than tenfold. Lin Fei knew the saber world couldn't withstand it. Boom! Lin Fei unleashed a punch, releasing the power of his 5,300 particle worlds within his body. He didn't wait for the heavenly thunder to strike, instead, he actively attacked it. Splatter! Finally, the two forces collided violently, and the heavenly thunder was annihilated. The seventh heavenly thunder was no match for Lin Fei and was obliterated by his punch. Whoosh! The eighth heavenly thunder descended swiftly, almost in the blink of an eye. It struck the saber world, shattering it instantly. The saber world couldn't withstand the eighth heavenly thunder, and Lin Fei didn't have the chance to unleash the power of his particle worlds. The heavenly thunder entered his physical body. It eradicated only 30% of Lin Fei's particles before it was vanquished. It had no strength left to obliterate more particles. Lin Fei shook his head. As he expected, this heavenly thunder was too weak. The ninth heavenly tribulation was also too feeble. In this situation, even if the power of the ninth heavenly thunder suddenly increased tenfold or even several times more, it would be utterly meaningless. It couldn't possibly strike down Lin Fei. Boom! The ninth heavenly thunder descended, indeed proving to be extraordinary. It even caused ripples within the Sea of Origin. Lin Fei's saber world shattered instantly, and the thunder's power directly annihilated 50% of his particles. Furthermore, it continued to consume his particles. In the next moment, the power of Lin Fei's 5,300 particle worlds erupted, aggressively rushing toward the rampant heavenly thunders within him. The terrifying power overwhelmed the thunder's strength, and coupled with Lin Fei's vastly improved physical particle composition, the ninth heavenly thunder finally couldn't withstand it and was utterly annihilated. At this moment, Lin Fei had successfully overcome the ninth heavenly tribulation, even resisting all 9 heavenly thunders. Outside the tribulation grounds, everyone knew that true monarch Lin had successfully passed the ninth heavenly tribulation. He did it with 9 heavenly thunders, all held at bay. After this time, we won't see true monarch Lin facing a tribulation again. I wonder how long it will take for true monarch Lin to achieve the status of a martial ancestor. In an instant, anticipation filled the hearts of the onlookers. When would Lin Fei become a martial ancestor? However, Lin Fei was not as optimistic. He raised his head and gazed at the majestic depths of the Sea of Origin in the void. At this moment, the sea still seemed to be in upheaval, subtly brewing something. Lin Fei was filled with curiosity. What kind of reward would the Origin Sea of the Divine Realm bestow upon him for conquering the 9 heavenly thunders during this ninth heavenly tribulation? Chapter 569. The Rewards of 9 Heavenly Tribulations. Lin Fei's world Tao had remained stagnant for quite some time now. At this moment, he waited patiently. In the next moment, the Sea of Origin trembled. Immediately afterward, a rainbow-colored radiance descended upon Lin Fei, enveloping him entirely. Lin Fei found himself once again within the illusion. Inside the illusion, Lin Fei beheld a world, a small world. This small world had already given birth to life, much like what he had witnessed the last time he entered the illusion. However, back then, it was towards the end of the illusion, while now, it was just the beginning. Lin Fei, however, became lost in contemplation. The previous illusion had already seen the birth of life within the world, making it a complete world. Now, with the appearance of this small world, could it undergo any further changes? Lin Fei pondered relentlessly. At least in his understanding, once a world had given birth to life, it had reached its completion, and there was nothing more to comprehend. So, what purpose did it serve to continue encountering illusions of such worlds? However, Lin Fei couldn't control these illusions. They were governed by the Sea of Origin. Even if he didn't wish to experience these illusions again, he had no choice but to endure them and quietly observe. As time passed, Lin Fei observed that within this small world, life was increasing rapidly. Moreover, these life forms were constantly cultivating and growing stronger, giving rise to individuals akin to golden core cultivators, nascent soul cultivators, martial kings, and even martial gods. However, it seemed that martial god was the limit they could achieve, and further progress was unattainable due to the limitations of this small world. Yet, the life forms within these small worlds were not content with this limitation. They were determined to forge a path beyond the realm of martial gods to reach greater heights. They were willing to go to any lengths to break through, to surpass the boundaries imposed upon them by their small worlds. Despite their efforts, the small worlds had decided that they could only reach the level of martial gods and no higher. There seemed to be no way to break through this barrier. Nevertheless, the number of martial gods continued to grow. Finally, one day, hundreds of martial god-level individuals collectively engaged in profound contemplation. They managed to deduce a groundbreaking method, a path that could elevate them to new heights. Dozens of martial god-level individuals were willing to take the risk and practice this revolutionary technique. Sadly, the vast majority of them perished in their attempts, leaving only one who succeeded. Boon. This lone individual, who had transitioned from the martial god level, ascended to the true monarch level. Throughout this process, the small world underwent a profound transformation. Lin Fei was deeply shocked. What did he witness? A small world was slowly metamorphosing, starting with its laws, followed by its world source, and even the small world itself, all undergoing rapid expansion. The world's origin, in particular, multiplied immensely, and all the laws seemed to be elevating themselves. This small world had utterly transformed into a true monarch-level world. Seeing this scene left Lin Fei in profound astonishment, surpassing even his wildest imagination. He no longer wanted to leave the illusion. Instead, he desired to stay within it for a more extended period. He wanted to understand what had prompted the small world to undergo such a remarkable transformation and ultimately ascend to the true monarch-level world. Wait a moment, ascending to a true monarch-level world is truly unheard of. Could it be that true monarch-level worlds aren't inherently born but can be elevated afterward? Furthermore, it seems that the ascension to a true monarch-level world is related to life within the world. One must forcibly elevate to the true monarch level to have a chance at world ascension. Lin Fei carefully recalled and analyzed the situation, and faintly, he seemed to have grasped a clue. Your world Tao, by witnessing the ascension of the small world to a true monarch level world, has gained enlightenment. Your world Tao has increased by 20% in progress. Your world Tao has reached 73% progress. Suddenly, the system's voice rang in Lin Fei's mind. Subsequently, when Lin Fei regained consciousness and raised his head, the illusion had already disappeared. He was back within the formation. This ninth heavenly tribulation had been completely overcome, and Lin Fei had received his rewards, including profound enlightenment. System. Lin Fei immediately accessed the system for further information. Host, Lin Fei. Martial Realm, Martial God, 9 Heavenly Tribulations. Great Dream Heart Sutra, 4th Layer. 4 Symbols and 5 Elements Creation Technique, 5,300 Particle Worlds. World Tao, 73% progress. Lin Fei glanced at the progress of his World Tao, which had indeed reached 73%, a significant increase of 20% in a single instance. This was the result of his enlightenment, triggered only after successfully overcoming the 9 heavenly tribulations and resisting the 9 heavenly thunderbolts. This was far beyond Lin Fei's expectations. He hadn't anticipated that his world Tao could make such a remarkable leap. It seems that the ascension of the small world to a true monarch-level world had a profound impact on my world Tao. Hence, the significant enlightenment and the 20% progress increase. If I can elevate the particle world within my body from a small world to a true monarch-level world as well, how powerful will my physical body become? An audacious and wild idea took root in Lin Fei's mind. If all of his particle worlds could transform into true monarch-level worlds, then his physical strength would likely rival that of a martial ancestor, even if he hadn't fully mastered a complete Tao or achieved the title of martial ancestor. Of course, ascending to a true monarch-level world presented a daunting challenge. It was related to life within the world, but Lin Fei's particle worlds currently had no life within them. How could he possibly achieve world ascension? This was something Lin Fei could only ponder for now, as it seemed impossible to accomplish in the short term with no apparent opportunity in sight. Furthermore, even if life were to be born within his particle worlds, ascending them to true monarch-level worlds would be equally challenging and require continuous experimentation. However, it's very difficult to deduce how to ascend my particle worlds to true monarch-level worlds slowly. But within the divine dream realm, I can deduce it completely. And the method of deduction doesn't matter. Lin Fei had a thought. He remembered the various advantages of the divine dream realm. While he was helping the Great Dream Ancestor improve the realm, it was also providing tremendous benefits for him. Time to go back. Lin Fei left the formation. As he emerged, he was greeted by a scene in the Thunder Tribulation area that left him awestruck. It was densely packed with martial gods, deity transformation realm cultivators, and many other powerful beings. When they saw Lin Fei emerging, they all loudly congratulated him. "Congratulations, true monarch Lin, on passing the 9th heavenly tribulation." Their congratulations came from the heart, and they were filled with genuine admiration. Lin Fei's tribulation had brought great benefits to many martial gods after all. Lin Fei nodded slightly in response, saying nothing, and took a step forward, leaving the Thunder Tribulation area and returning to his residence. With a thought, Lin Fei conjured 9 world laws into his hands, the ones he had acquired during his recent tribulation. Combined with the 52 world laws he had previously collected, Lin Fei now possessed a total of 61 world laws. Originally, Lin Fei had planned to comprehend how to create a true monarch-level world in the future and then use these world laws to establish true monarch-level particle worlds. However, it now appeared to be an extremely challenging endeavor, akin to an insurmountable obstacle. Achieving true monarch-level particle worlds in a single step was incredibly difficult. Regardless, I need to visit a true monarch-level world first to get a better understanding. Lin Fei refrained from creating a particle world for now. Instead, he wanted to explore a genuine true monarch-level world, one that wasn't on the brink of collapse but a fully functioning true monarch-level world. This, Lin Fei believed, he could achieve. Chapter 570. The Secret of the Ancient Continent. To locate a true monarch-level world on the brink of collapse is indeed a challenging endeavor for Lin Fei. However, finding a regular true monarch-level world is quite straightforward. At present, Lin Fei is aware of 3 such worlds, and this information is public knowledge. After all, true monarch-level worlds differ from small worlds. True monarchs do not rely heavily on world origins, and these worlds are incredibly stable. Even with numerous true monarchs, it is impossible to destroy a true monarch-level world. Thus, a normal true monarch-level world is not a target for destruction. Even if it is publicly known, entering a true monarch-level world is primarily for regular cultivation and enlightenment. Lin Fei knows of 3 true monarch-level worlds with such characteristics. Since I'm going, I'll choose the largest true monarch-level world, he thought. I'll go to the Eternal Light Realm. Lin Fei had already made his decision. With a swift motion, he shattered the void, entering a spatial passage. In the blink of an eye, he vanished without a trace, heading towards the Eternal Light Realm. The Eternal Light Realm, as a true monarch-level world of unparalleled stability, attracts many true monarchs and martial gods. What's crucial is that the native life within the Eternal Light Realm can even enter the Divine Realm, indicating the existence of a passage connecting the 2 realms. Moreover, the cultivation methods in the Eternal Light Realm are quite similar to those in the Divine Realm, which enables this connection between the 2 realms. Presently, the Eternal Light Realm is not so much a true monarch-level world as a unique part of the Divine Realm, much like the Ancient Continent. They can freely traverse between each other. At this moment, Lin Fei found himself in the Eternal Light Realm, strolling through the bustling Eternal Light City. This city is the most prosperous in the Eternal Light Realm. Among the native inhabitants of the Eternal Light Realm, true monarchs had long been born. Some of them have even left the Eternal Light Realm to enter the Divine Realm. Among them, the most formidable true monarch is none other than the illustrious Eternal Light True Monarch. The name itself, Eternal Light, speaks volumes about the might of this true monarch. It's worth noting that the Eternal Light Realm has not produced just one true monarch, it is indeed an incredibly powerful true monarch-level world. Lin Fei meticulously observed everything within the Eternal Light Realm. This included the emptiness, which, while not as stable as the Divine Realm, remained remarkably robust. Under such conditions, the prospect of its collapse was exceedingly challenging. Furthermore, there was the presence of world origins, vast and intricately interwoven. Each strand of lore upheld order meticulously. Should Lin Fei attempt to forcefully disrupt the Eternal Light Realm, not only would the true monarchs of the realm refuse, but the realm itself possessed the power to retaliate. Recall the tribulations in the Divine Realm, they were the manifestation of the Divine Realm's power. Similarly, in a genuinely secure true monarch-level world, should anyone attempt to disrupt it, they would face the full might of the entire realm. Even Lin Fei himself would hesitate to claim the ability to withstand the onslaught of an entire true monarch-level world. However, how could he achieve enlightenment? Lin Fei had roamed the Eternal Light Realm for a considerable time but had gleaned nothing substantial. He yearned to comprehend the intricacies of a true monarch-level world which would enable him to potentially create one within his bodily particles. Yet, so far, he remained empty-handed. Everything he sought, from world origins to laws and life, existed in abundance. But which was the key? Lin Fei had attempted to create worlds in the Divine Dream Realm, but regardless of his approach, they all remained small worlds. Should he produce an abundance of world origins arbitrarily, it would defy logic and lead to the world's collapse, leaving no trace within the Divine Dream Realm. Therefore, the creation had to adhere to logical principles. Unfortunately, the creation of a true monarch-level world seemed beyond Lin Fei's reach. In the end, it's futile. Regardless of how I contemplate, my current cultivation level renders it all useless, Lin Fei mused. I shall return to the Divine Dream Realm and patiently await the spontaneous emergence of life within those small worlds. Once life arises, I can attempt to enhance their strength and see if they can evolve into true monarch-level worlds. After careful consideration, Lin Fei concluded that this was his last resort. Subsequently, he departed from the Eternal Light Realm, opting not to engage in any disruptive activities. It was not out of fear of the Eternal Light True Monarch but rather due to a sense of futility. Lin Fei returned to the Divine Dream Realm. He observed the tireless efforts of the true monarchs by Cheng and Qianxian as they continued to perfect the Divine Dream Realm. Lin Fei then inspected the worlds he had created. Despite several days passing on the outside, nearly a century or two had elapsed within the 4 layers of the Divine Dream Realm. Yet, life had not yet emerged. At this rate, it was unclear how long it would take for life to manifest. Continuing to create small worlds seemed futile. At this point in time, Lin Fei's power had reached its zenith. His cultivation had even hit a bottleneck, and further progress was seemingly impossible. Even within the Divine Dream Realm, all Lin Fei could do was wait patiently. Waiting in the Divine Dream Realm serves no purpose, Lin Fei concluded. Since I've hit a bottleneck and all that's left is to wait, I might as well return to Ancient Continent. Lin Fei remembered the words of his master, Great Dream Ancestor. Ancient Continent had once been a place of opportunity for achieving the titles of Martial Ancestor and True Immortal. Considering his current predicament, perhaps returning to the Ancient Continent could provide a new opportunity. With this in mind, Lin Fei promptly sought an audience with the Great Dream Ancestor. Master, Lin Fei greeted the Great Dream Ancestor with the utmost respect. Lin Fei, what brings you here? Inquired the Great Dream Ancestor. Master, your disciple has encountered a bottleneck in comprehending the Tao, Lin Fei explained. There seems to be no possibility of any immediate breakthrough. Therefore, your disciple plans to request permission from the Ancient Covenant to return to the Ancient Continent. You wish to return to the Ancient Continent? Great Dream Ancestor responded with slight surprise. Yet, upon further reflection, it made sense. Lin Fei's rapid progress in cultivation, combined with his successful navigation of 9 thunder tribulations, naturally led to a plateau in his Tao comprehension. Returning to the Ancient Continent at this juncture seemed quite fitting. Have you considered this carefully? Great Dream Ancestor cautioned, once you return this time, the next opportunity to go back to the Ancient Continent will only come when you reach the rank of Martial Ancestor. Lin Fei shook his head, indicating that not returning to the Divine Realm was not an option for him. Abandoning the Divine Realm would only grant him a lifespan of 1 million years, and after that, he would become nothing but a handful of dust. Lin Fei had no intention of turning into mere dust. Master, I have made up my mind. Please grant your approval, Lin Fei respectfully requested. Seeing the determined look in Lin Fei's eyes, the Great Dream Ancestor nodded and said, very well, if you wish to go back, you shall. Apply to the Ancient Covenant, and I will make arrangements to allow you to return to the Ancient Continent. However, since you intend to return to the Ancient Continent, there are some secrets you ought to know. In reality, these aren't much of a secret. True immortals and martial ancestors of the Ancient Covenant are aware of them. Ancient Continent holds some mysteries. As a true immortal level world, it's far from being simple. When you return to the Ancient Continent, try to unify it, at least on the surface, with you as the leader. Then, hold a celestial ceremony requesting the ancient continent to grant you an opportunity to comprehend the Tao. If you do this, it should send shockwaves throughout the ancient continent, and they will grant you a chance to comprehend the ancient Tao. Whether you can glean anything from it depends on your own fortunes. Upon hearing the great dream ancestor's words, Lin Fei widened his eyes in astonishment. He had never heard of such a thing during his previous time on the ancient continent. To think that he could pray to the ancient continent for an opportunity to comprehend its Tao. Master, this is truly unbelievable, Lin Fei exclaimed, deeply moved by the revelation. Chapter 571. The Secret of World's Will. It is indeed unimaginable, Lin Fei admitted. Do you find it astonishing? However, once you understand that the world has a spirit, it doesn't seem as shocking, Great Dream Ancestor responded. True immortal level worlds have given birth to a will. This is what is known as the heavenly will. To some extent, true immortal level worlds like ancient continent require strong individuals like true immortals and martial ancestors to give birth to them. In reality, some true immortals of our ancient covenant, through Tao integration, have merged with the Tao of the ancient continent. This is somewhat different from divine realm true immortals. Lin Fei fell silent. The concept of the world having a spirit was inherently awe-inspiring. Once the world had a spirit, many things could be explained. However, he was curious about whether small worlds and true monarch-level worlds had spirits. Master, do small worlds and true monarch-level worlds possess spirits? Lin Fei inquired. Great Dream Ancestor smiled faintly and explained, most small worlds and true monarch-level worlds lack consciousness. However, if a small world or true monarch-level world were to develop consciousness, they would have the potential to ascend. They might even ascend to the level of true immortal level worlds in the future. Furthermore, only by giving birth to consciousness do they have the opportunity to ascend to the level of true immortal level worlds. Upon hearing the Great Dream Ancestor's words, Lin Fei was shaken to his core. He finally understood why his world had not ascended. Consciousness. The world needed to develop consciousness to have a chance to ascend to a true monarch-level world. I see. Lin Fei exclaimed, suddenly enlightened. Master, may I ask how to make the world develop consciousness, or how to make the world possess a spirit? Lin Fei asked with urgency. Great Dream Ancestor shook his head helplessly and said, how the world develops consciousness is something even the Supreme cannot fathom. All we can do is let it unfold naturally. However, once a world develops consciousness, it must not be destroyed. Such a world possesses immense potential and can grow into a true immortal level world. Once it becomes a true immortal level world, it wields tremendous influence over any power. Lin Fei nodded in understanding. As for how to detect whether a world had developed consciousness, Lin Fei chose not to ask the Great Dream Ancestor. As a true monarch now, he had the innate ability to sense it, even if he had not been aware of it before. Thank you for your guidance, Master, Lin Fei expressed his gratitude. I understand now. Very well, now that you understand, you may go. Great Dream Ancestor waved his hand. Lin Fei's consciousness returned instantly to the divine realm. With a sudden gasp, he opened his eyes, taking in his surroundings. This time, he had learned many hidden secrets from his master, including the concept of world consciousness. My particle world, to ascend to the true monarch level, needs to develop consciousness, Lin Fei thought to himself. However, this is a long-term process, and even life has not yet been born within it. Lin Fei shook his head, realizing that it was too distant a goal for him at the moment. He needed to return to the ancient continent, unite it, and conduct the heaven sacrificial ceremony. There, he would attempt to comprehend the Tao of the ancient continent and elevate his world's Tao to 100%, potentially achieving the status of a martial ancestor. Whether he could become one remained uncertain, but he was willing to give it his all. With determination in his heart, Lin Fei stood up and left his residence, heading straight for the headquarters of the ancient covenant. To enter the ancient continent, he needed the approval of the ancient covenant. Soon, he arrived at the ancient covenant headquarters. True Monarch Lin, the ancient covenant headquarters martial gods, deity transformation cultivators, and even true monarch level cultivators all recognized Lin Fei. They displayed great respect toward him. Lin Fei, now a top-tier true monarch with the potential to become a martial ancestor, was a legend within the entire ancient covenant. Who wouldn't hold him in high regard? Lin Fei nodded slightly and approached several true monarchs in the headquarters. He spoke in a deep voice, "I wish to apply for a return to the ancient continent." True monarch Lin wishes to return to ancient continent. The true monarchs knew Lin Fei's identity. He had originally come from the ancient continent to the divine realm, and there was a chance for him to return. They immediately informed high-ranking authorities, specifically the Tao Integration True Immortal, responsible for such matters. Soon, Lin Fei received a message from the true monarch, stating, "True monarch Lin, a true immortal wishes to meet you. Whether your application is approved or not will ultimately depend on the decision of the Tao Integration True Immortal. A true immortal wants to see me." Lin Fei was somewhat surprised. "Which true immortal is it?" "The Tao Integration True Immortal. And your ability to return to the ancient continent is at the discretion of the Tao Integration True Immortal," they replied. Lin Fei understood. The Tao Integration True Immortal had the final say in whether he could return to the ancient continent. He followed the true monarch and said, "Please lead the way." Lin Fei followed the true monarch deeper into the ancient covenant headquarters. Although he was unsure why the Tao Integration True Immortal wanted to see him, he had a feeling it was related to his return to the ancient continent. As he walked, he considered that seeing a true immortal would be a unique experience, and hopefully, the Tao Integration True Immortal, being a part of the ancient covenant, wouldn't harm him. Soon, Lin Fei arrived at a grand hall. Inside, there was only one figure, a middle-aged man who exuded an elegant air. His presence felt ethereal, and despite there being only one person in the hall, his aura seemed to merge seamlessly with the entire space, the surrounding void, and even the divine realm itself. This was a true immortal, a Tao Integration True Immortal. "Greetings to your highness, true immortal," Lin Fei respectfully bowed. The aura of the Tao Integration True Immortal was entirely different from the Great Dream Ancestors. Lin Fei had never seen the Great Dream Ancestor's true form, as the Great Dream Ancestor was shrouded in mystery. Therefore, he couldn't compare their auras. The Tao Integration True Immortal nodded slightly and said, "Lin Fei, Great Dream Ancestor has already informed me of your desire to return to ancient continent. I won't make it difficult for you and will allow you to return. However, I'm curious about one thing. What the specific rewards you received after enduring the 9th heavenly tribulation?" Lin Fei was surprised by the Tao Integration True Immortal's question. "Your Highness, you are not aware of it." "Of course not," replied the Tao Integration True Immortal. "Although I have achieved Tao Integration and merged with the Divine Realm's Grand Tao, I do not know it." This revelation stunned Lin Fei. He had always assumed that the rewards he received after enduring 9 heavenly tribulations were common knowledge among Tao Integration True Immortals or martial ancestors. However, it turned out that even the Tao Integration True Immortal was unaware of the rewards he had received. The Tao Integration True Immortal continued, "The rewards you received from the Sea of Origin are unknown even to Tao Integration True Immortals. Now, please tell me what you gained after enduring the 9 heavenly tribulations." Lin Fei was open to sharing this information. He replied, "Your Highness, after enduring 9 heavenly tribulations, I was pulled into an illusion within the Sea of Origin. There I comprehended the Tao. The effect was quite remarkable." Lin Fei mentioned only his Tao comprehension, which was indeed the primary benefit he gained. Each time he comprehended the Tao in the illusion, his world's Tao improved significantly. "I see, so you comprehended the Tao Integration True Immortal replied. "It appears that passing through the heavenly tribulations and enduring 9 of them indeed brings unexpected benefits. Comprehending the Tao is a tremendous advantage." The Tao Integration True Immortal's eyes shone with interest. Comprehending the Tao was something that every true monarch understood to be extremely difficult. Being able to do so after enduring 9 heavenly tribulations was an extraordinary benefit. However, Lin Fei remained unique in this regard. He was the only one who could claim such a reward, as no one else had been able to endure 9 heavenly tribulations successfully. Chapter 572. Lin Fei steps into the interdimensional passage. "Your Highness, calling me here must be for more than just this matter, correct? If you have any other concerns, please do share," Lin Fei inquired abruptly. He could discern that the Tao Integration True Immortal had summoned him not solely for this occasion, there must be additional matters at hand. However, the Tao Integration True Immortal might be harboring some reservations or something else but had yet to articulate them. Upon hearing Lin Fei's words, he took a deep breath and nodded in agreement. Indeed, true monarch Lin, I have summoned you not solely for this matter, he began. It is also because you are returning to the ancient continent. I have some matters that I would like to entrust to you. Please, Your Highness, go ahead, Lin Fei replied, intrigued. He wondered what kind of request could prompt the Tao integration true immortal to use the word entrust. This piqued his curiosity. The Tao integration true immortal sighed deeply and continued, on your forthcoming journey back to the ancient continent, you are undoubtedly planning to unify the land and conduct the heaven sacrificial ritual, hoping to comprehend the great Tao, am I correct? Rest assured, true immortals and martial gods of the ancient covenant are still united, he assured. Furthermore, Great Dream Ancestor once owed me a favor, so your affairs will naturally be handled with discretion. You need not worry that anyone will bring you a fortune while you are in the ancient continent. However, when you are in the process of unifying the ancient continent, if you encounter the ancient family known as the Young Clan, I hope that you will extend them some kindness. Even if the Young Clan has any requests, as long as they are not overly excessive, I hope that you will consider granting them. The Young Clan? Lin Fei pondered with a thoughtful expression. Could this Young Clan be descendants of the Tao integration true immortal's bloodline? Nevertheless, it seemed somewhat peculiar. After all, the Tao integration true immortal was a distinguished true immortal who could return to the ancient continent at any time. Why would Lin Fei need to take care of the Young Clan on his behalf? True immortal, I have a question that perplexes me, Lin Fei began. You should be able to return to the ancient continent at any time, correct? If you wish to support the Young Clan, it would be a simple matter for you to speak on their behalf. The Tao integration true immortal gently shook his head and replied, indeed, I can return to the ancient continent at any time. However, there is an agreement among the true immortals and martial ancestors of the ancient covenant. True immortals and martial ancestors are not allowed to interfere in the affairs of the ancient continent unless it directly concerns them. The Young Clan, being the descendants of a close friend of mine, does not fall under such a direct concern. Therefore, there are certain matters that I cannot meddle in at will. Otherwise, how could you have not heard of any true immortals or martial ancestors while you were in the ancient continent? Upon careful consideration, Lin Fei realized the truth in the Tao integration true immortal's words. During his time in the ancient continent, there were indeed very few martial gods, let alone true immortals. The higher-level beings were kept at bay to protect the ancient covenant's interests. Otherwise, how could Lin Fei have achieved his prominence in the ancient continent? I understand, Lin Fei said respectfully. Rest assured, true immortal, I will remember to take good care of the Young Clan in the ancient continent. Very well, now you can proceed to the interdimensional passage and return to ancient continent, the Tao integration true immortal instructed. Remember to make all necessary preparations for any matters, such as bringing any individuals along. Otherwise, the next time you wish to return to the ancient continent, it will only be possible once you have achieved the rank of martial ancestor. Thank you for the reminder, true immortal, Lin Fei replied with gratitude. He was well aware that he needed to make thorough preparations for his journey back to the ancient continent. With that, he took his leave. Shortly thereafter, Lin Fei departed from the Tao integration true immortal's abode and swiftly made his way to the interdimensional passage. The interdimensional passage was heavily guarded, with true monarchs stationed along its entire length. Lin Fei couldn't help but notice the vigilant gazes of the true monarchs. It was evident that the ancient covenant regarded the ancient continent as its core foundation, its ancestral land, and they guarded it diligently. Unauthorized entry into ancient continent was strictly forbidden, and anyone attempting to sneak in would find themselves on a one-way path to destruction. Oh, by the way, what about the Kun? Lin Fei inquired. It was quite determined to kill me back then, but it seems to have disappeared recently. Lin Fei had almost forgotten about the Kun. Since he had arrived in the divine realm, he had not encountered it. It appeared that Kun had chosen to keep a low profile. However, now that Lin Fei was returning to the ancient continent, he could only postpone dealing with the Kun and prioritize his return. True monarch Lin, the Tao integration true immortal has already informed us, one of the guards said. You are allowed to enter the ancient continent. If you plan to return to the divine realm with anyone, it is permissible. I understand, Lin Fei nodded. These people were familiar with Lin Fei, and their curious gazes were tinged with a hint of awe. After all, Lin Fei had become a legend in the ancient covenant. Ignoring the subtle scrutiny from the true monarchs, Lin Fei gazed at the interdimensional passage before him without hesitation. In an instant, he stepped into the passage. Mount Ascension, a forbidden area within the ancient continent. Many martial kings who ventured onto Mount Ascension treaded carefully, as the slightest mistake could spell danger. However, at this moment, Mount Ascension had gathered a multitude of powerful individuals. The reason was that another deity transformation cultivator had just been born today. This deity transformation cultivator was following in the footsteps of martial god Lin Fei, intending to step onto Mount Ascension and enter the divine realm. I never expected that the celestial strategist true person would actually achieve deity transformation, one person commented. Our ancient continent truly produces outstanding talents. First, we had martial god Lin Fei, and now we have the celestial strategist true person, both achieving godhood and entering the divine realm, another person remarked with excitement. Divine realm, just thinking about it makes me thrilled. However, without achieving godhood, we can never enter the divine realm. Remember when martial god Lin Fei overshadowed the entire ancient continent? Now, we finally have chi cultivators who have achieved deity transformation and can even enter the divine realm. Who do you think is superior between martial god Lin Fei and the celestial strategist true person? It's hard to say. However, the celestial strategist true person has incarnations numbering in the billions, and even martial god Lin Fei may not be able to kill him. From this perspective, the celestial strategist true person might have the upper hand. It's been such a long time. I wonder how martial god Lin Fei is faring in the divine realm. Perhaps he was extraordinary in the ancient continent, but in the divine realm, he may not amount to much. He might have already been surpassed by others. Many still remembered Lin Fei. After all, martial god Lin once swept across the entire ancient continent. Many ancient deity transformation and martial god cultivators had temporarily avoided his edge, a testament to Lin Fei's formidable strength. Many cultivators of the Tao were also left feeling overshadowed by martial prowess. The appearance of the celestial strategist true person had finally allowed Tao cultivators to breathe a sigh of relief, as they could relax slightly. The celestial strategist true person now stood in the void, looking down at everyone on Mount Ascension, exuding an air of dominance. He had almost reached the pinnacle of the entire ancient continent, and like Lin Fei, he was about to enter the divine realm. Entering the divine realm is when true talents are displayed, he said, his gaze sweeping over the crowd. Lin Fei, a mere martial god, once dominated the ancient continent, but upon entering the divine realm, he must have long been overshadowed. But I am different, he continued confidently. Even in the divine realm, my talent will shine brightly. The celestial strategist true person was quite young and full of pride. After achieving deity transformation, he wasted no time in preparing to journey to the divine realm. He had no desire to stay in the ancient continent, a testament to his ambitious aspirations. Now, let us send off the celestial strategist true person. Many nascent soul cultivators shouted loudly, much to his satisfaction. However, just as he was about to step onto Mount Ascension and enter the divine realm, a sudden and intense tremor shook the mountain. Even the interdimensional passage within Mount Ascension experienced violent vibrations. Everyone on Mount Ascension, including the celestial strategist true person, looked bewildered, unsure of what had just occurred. Chapter 573. Lin Fei's back. What's going on? Why is Mount Ascension shaking so violently? It has been silent for so long. The interdimensional passage, look, it's trembling, and there's even light emanating from it. Could it be that someone has arrived in the ancient continent through the interdimensional passage? Is it someone from the divine realm? Who would return to the ancient continent from the divine realm? Everyone widened their eyes, even the celestial strategist true person, who stared at the interdimensional passage. Whoa! Finally, a brilliant light burst forth from Mount Ascension, and a figure suddenly emerged before everyone. Where is this? Mount Ascension. Lin Fei glanced around, taking in the familiar surroundings of Mount Ascension. He had initially entered the interdimensional passage through Mount Ascension to reach the divine realm, and now he had returned. However, he couldn't help but wonder about the deity transformation cultivator before him and the sudden gathering of people on Mount Ascension. Lin Fei remembered that Mount Ascension was a restricted area with very few visitors. Are you? martial god Lin Fei of the ancient origin sect. At that moment, the celestial strategist true person seemed to recall something. He widened his eyes, showing astonishment in his gaze. Lin Fei. Martial god Lin Fei. In recent decades, the most legendary figure in the ancient continent. Even though the celestial strategist true person was confident in his own abilities, he had to admit that Lin Fei's deeds in the ancient continent were legendary. The entire ancient continent knew of Lin Fei, and he couldn't match Lin Fei in terms of fame. Despite challenging Lin Fei to a contest, the sight of Lin Fei now left the celestial strategist true person cautious and even somewhat excited. As the celestial strategist true person's words fell, many on Mount Ascension also recognized Lin Fei. It's martial god Lin. It really is martial god Lin, but how did he return? Yeah, isn't it said that once you go to the divine realm, you can't come back? Whether you can come back or not is unclear, but martial god Lin is the first among the many god-level cultivators who went to the divine realm to return to the ancient continent. I wonder how much progress martial god Lin has made in the divine realm during these years. He probably has reached the later stages of the martial god level, if not, perhaps even the peak martial god level. For a moment, many people were discussing fervently, each with their own questions. Lin Fei's sudden return to the ancient continent was definitely out of the ordinary. Why did he return alone when so many other god-level cultivators had gone to the divine realm? Why didn't the others come back? Lin Fei cast a glance at the celestial strategist true person. He didn't know him, but he could tell that he was a deity transformation cultivator. The discussions among the people on Mount Ascension also gave Lin Fei a general understanding of the situation. Greetings, martial god Lin, I am celestial strategist true person. Celestial strategist true person, I've heard of you. You want to enter the divine realm through the interdimensional passage, right? Indeed, but I'm not sure about this divine realm. The celestial strategist true person hesitated, as he was naturally worried about the unfamiliar and information-scarce divine realm. Lin Fei nodded gently and said, the divine realm is good, you won't have any problems. However, when you go to the divine realm, you should focus on your cultivation. It's not like in the ancient continent, where you're already at the peak of the immortal Tao. In the divine realm, deity transformation is just the beginning. Lin Fei stood with his hands behind his back, exuding the air of a mentor once again. The celestial strategist true person didn't dare to say much but felt somewhat relieved. Thank you, martial god. With that, the celestial strategist true person didn't linger any longer and directly stepped into the interdimensional passage. Buzz! In the next moment, the celestial strategist true person arrived in the divine realm. Seeing the guards from the ancient covenant outside, he immediately became nervous. Another god-level cultivator. True monarch Lin has just entered ancient continent, and now another god-level cultivator arrives. Could it be related to true monarch Lin? If it's related to true monarch Lin, we must make appropriate arrangements. Hearing the words of these guards, the celestial strategist true person felt curious. Although he had some speculations in his mind, he still asked, fellow Taoists, may I know if the true monarch Lin you mentioned is the martial god Lin of ancient continent? Martial god Lin. The people exchanged glances and smiled, saying, it's been a long time since that title was used. When true monarch Lin was still a martial god, he was a legendary figure throughout the divine realm and even hailed as the #1 martial god in the divine realm. However, now true monarch Lin has long surpassed the martial god level and ascended to the rank of true monarch. If you stay in the divine realm a bit longer, you'll learn about the legendary deeds of true monarch Lin. By the way, who are you in relation to true monarch Lin? The guard's words surprised the celestial strategist true person. It seemed that Lin Fei had developed quite well in the divine realm. To be known as the #1 martial god in the divine realm was an incredible honor. The celestial strategist true person's thoughts raced as he carefully replied, I am a junior of true monarch Lin. True monarch Lin has been very gracious to me. The celestial strategist true person couldn't help but exaggerate a bit. After all, Lin Fei's status in the divine realm was extraordinary, and being considered his junior would undoubtedly come with many benefits. As expected, you have a connection with true monarch Lin. For true monarch Lin's sake, we'll make sure you have a good place here. With that, the celestial strategist true person followed the ancient covenant guards out of the interdimensional passage. Meanwhile, on Mount Ascension, Lin Fei had no idea that he had gained another junior. Lin Fei took a step forward and arrived in front of the people on Mount Ascension. Respectfully welcome Martial God Lin. Many people immediately knelt down and paid their respects. Their eyes gleamed with excitement and their expressions were filled with anticipation. Clearly, Lin Fei's return had greatly exceeded their expectations. Ancient Origin Sect, how is it now? Lin Fei inquired, as he was most eager to know the current state of the Ancient Origin Sect and the well-being of his loved ones. Martial God Lin, Ancient Origin Sect remains largely unchanged from when you left, replied one of the people. And the Feng family? Lin Fei asked. Are you asking about your wife? The person responded, they are peaceful, with no significant issues. Lin Fei finally breathed a sigh of relief. It made sense when he thought about it. How long had he been away? At most, it had been 3 years, possibly even less. In just 2 or 3 years, it was no time at all. Despite all the events and progress he had made in the divine realm, becoming the #1 martial god and even a true monarch, almost achieving the rank of martial ancestor, his time away from the ancient continent had not been that long. From the perspective of martial kings, it was just one brief period of seclusion, and they might not even have had enough time for that. There was no reason for anything significant to have happened to the Ancient Origin Sect or the Feng family within that time frame. In just 2 or 3 years, Lin Fei's reputation had not diminished in the slightest, it had only grown stronger, making him a legend of the ancient continent. Lin Fei had 2 places on his mind, the Ancient Origin Sect and the Feng family, specifically, Feng Ling. Lin Fei considered his options, should he return to the Feng family and reunite with Feng Ling first, or should he go back to the Ancient Origin Sect? Eventually, he made a decision. He wanted to see the person he missed the most, Feng Ling. Thank you, fellow Taoist, Lin Fei said, waving his hand, and a pure force enveloped the martial king, granting him immense benefits. With a swift step, Lin Fei shattered the void and traversed through space, heading toward his destination.